And this is what he has resorted to do, lastly.
Your thoughts on this, Henry Schuler. Do you think there's a lot of pressure being felt right now by the leadership in Tripoli? And to what extent do you feel that bringing the case of the ICC against him now and the possibility of a military action being taken on the ground, to what extent would this play into the hands precisely of groups like Al-Qaeda and its affiliates, those who believe that here is yet another example of a Muslim Arab leader being prosecuted?
I think it's very important to realize that the true believers in Islam in Libya recognized long ago that Muammar Gaddafi is virtually a heretic. He has arrogated unto himself the role of spiritual leader of the Libyan people through his Green Book nonsense. He has changed the Islamic calendar, a tradition that went back forever, to change it to start with the death of the Prophet, not with the AlJazeera. That sort of thing, and he has denounced the Sunnah as being a valid view of what the Prophet meant in his sayings.
But so do you think that he may use the actions now taken against him to rally support among those people who believe that he does somehow represent nationalistic ideals?
I don't believe he has a chance of doing that. He's too exposed. He's too vulnerable. This is too. This revolt against him rose up among the Libyan people, and it's not the first time. It's just the most successful so far. The forces of democracy and true Islam will triumph over Gaddafi. I have no doubt.
Mansour al-Kikhya, what do you make, and there you are in the United States, what do you make precisely of the position of the Bush administration, now the Obama administration? After all, Gaddafi's regime did not become brutal with its people overnight, yet he had drawn American praise for fighting extremism. There's a cable that was released recently by WikiLeaks, 2008, it is dated. It's called "The Libyan Leader, a Strong Partner in the War Against Terrorism," noting the excellent intelligence cooperation. What do you make about that?
Yeah, Mr. Schuler, Henry Schuler and I once attended an Atlantic Council meeting in which Bouzid Douda spoke. And Mr. Schuler remembers I burnt the regime, telling them the human rights abuses, the atrocities they've committed and all that. But that didn't seem to work very well with the Bush administration. I hope it works better with the Obama administration. I hope with the Obama administration, I think he's a sensible man. And I know there's some pressure on him not to involve himself in Libya. But I think Henry was quite right, that there are many things that can be done that can actually undermine Gaddafi's position and rule. And I do think, honestly, and I disagree with Ali in this point, that I do think that Gaddafi believes that he's winning. This is the big problem. He actually believes that he's making it, he's winning, that all of his nonsense about Islamists, about the support of Israel, about whatever it is doing, is getting to people. But it's not. People they know him. They know him for what he is. They've seen him lie on television, saying that my people love me and they're willing to die for me. Yes, he's killing them. So I don't think any of that's going to work.
Ibrahim
the
Jibril,
Obama administration needs to realize this.
Ibrahim Jibril, do you agree with this point? Do you think that he feels and that he is in fact winning militarily on the ground? Are these reports, these rumors that he was likely to step down within a couple of days in exchange for evading Libyan prosecution, can there be any credence to them, knowing the man that he is, the fact that he's clung on to power for more than 40 years? Or is it simply part of a psychological operation to undermine the resolve of his own followers?
Well, I don't think that he is winning militarily. I don't think that bombarding two cities in a country the size of Libya is winning. I don't think that not having control over 85% of the country and operating within 15% of it is winning militarily. I don't think that bombarding the same group of people in the same city over and over and over and over is necessarily winning. So no, I don't think that he is winning. And he is also not winning the psychological war. So he's not winning on any account. This is a time game in which he is losing. And I think that every day that goes by, he loses further down. He loses militarily and he loses psychologically. Now he is looking for any way out. The important thing is he is not going to get a get out of jail free card. He is going to be held accountable for the atrocities that he's committed in Libya and outside of Libya. And the Libyan people want to make sure that he stands trial, that justice takes place, much more than he has afforded the Libyan people that he has massacred over the years.
So how would most Libyans then feel if the Transitional Council now makes a deal with Muammar Gaddafi, and if he does evade prosecution? How effective, how representative, how authoritative and legitimate would they be?
The Transitional Council made it clear. They said perhaps, they said maybe we will consider. They did not say we will give, we will do. This is number one. Number two, this decision is not a decision lightly made, and it's not going to be made by any council, be it the Transitional Council or anybody else, simply because this particular decision belongs to every single person within the country of Libya. He has touched every family in Libya. He has massacred or inflicted pain on every family in Libya, and every family has the right then to have a say in terms of should he get out of jail free or should he be held accountable. And I think this is happening now in Libya. This dialogue is going on in Libya, and people are starting to talk about it.
Henry Schuler, based on your knowledge of the country and your close and intimate knowledge of the way influential Western capitals such as Washington operate, how do you see this ending? It's difficult to predict with every passing day, but it appears to be that the man, despite his idiosyncrasies, and I sat with him for a lengthy interview a year and a half ago, and back then as now, he has been saying that he has no position to step down from. This is Jamahiriya, it is people power. Do you feel that anything he said in the last couple of days suggests any kind of change in his rhetoric? Will he have to step down? What will it take?
No, I think all of that of not having any responsibility is errant nonsense. And I think that the most tragic situation that has developed is that the United States and Britain have allowed Musa Kusa. I have in my hands Musa Kusa's dissertation on the political leader and his social background, Muammar Gaddafi, the Libyan leader. And I've read it. It's not badly written, but it's very clear that Musa Kusa is a die-hard Gaddafi loyalist. And for some reason, he has managed to peddle his credentials as somebody who the United States and Britain should deal with. And with a lot of smoke and mirrors, he has pretended that Libya is cooperating on terrorism, counterterrorism, because he knew all the terrorists in the world, and so he convinced the U.S. government back during the Bush administration that he would turn that information over. Well, surprise, surprise, he turned over all of Gaddafi's opposition, the names of his opposition who had nothing whatsoever to do with Al-Qaeda.
Much more to discuss. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have on this edition. I want to thank all of my guests, Mansour Al-Kikhya in Texas, Henry Schuler in Washington, and Ibrahim Jibril here in Doha. And thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Inside Story. As always, we welcome your suggestions and comments. You can email them to us at inside